Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Excalibur Data Systems Roundtable Tech Talk. I am Mike Fuson, and I have with me today Manish Sharma from Rezolve.ai. Manish, thanks for joining me today.
Always a pleasure.
And we did our first kind of intro video of what is Rezolve, and we're going to kind of dive right into the to the deep end here, because Rezolve is a lot of things as we talked about, but a couple of things that bubble to the surface that you guys are really somewhat leading the industry in are chatbots and live chat support. And in this video, we want to talk a little bit about chatbots. And you and I, when we first met, had kind of a very broad conversation about chatbots. Everybody goes, "Oh, I want a chatbot," but nobody knows, what am I actually asking for? What does that mean that I want a chatbot? Because there are chatbot companies out there, and there are a couple of very big ones, but most of the chatbots that are built are designed more from a customer service sales
That's right.
perspective to sit within a website, not from a service-driven perspective. And one of the huge differentiators is that you guys from the ground up built your chatbot to be able to operate within Microsoft Teams. And when we talked, it's going to be almost a year ago here in a few months, I got my first time I got my eyeballs on what some of the stuff Rezolve was doing. You were about the only ones that had an actual chatbot, not something that was kind of faked out.
Yep.
And it was actually something that showed up in Teams. And as we've worked together with so many customers over the last 9-10 months, it is something that is unique. And as customers start to go through their use case journey, they start to understand what they're actually asking for, which is not just a chatbot that's going to spit back a knowledge base article, although that's something the chatbot can help us do. It's that shift left, trying to get to that zero support where we can, but most of the customers look for the chatbot to help us with automation. Common tasks that a technician would have to do, having the chatbot understand what the request is, and then ask the right questions, and then take action. And we talked a little bit about that in our last video, but talk to me a little bit more about where you guys are with the chatbot technology and kind of, what's the problem that you're seeing that a lot of customers are framing for you?
Perfect. Thank you again. I think you kind of defined the problem absolutely right. And if we step back a little bit and look at what has been happening for the last 10-15 years, right? Sales and service side, absolutely, you can throw a lot of bodies at the problem. You can set up a customer support team. You're willing to spend more and more money there. But when it comes to employee support solutions, right? Like, think of IT, service desk, and even HR for that matter. You already have cut it to the bone over years, right? And you don't have so many people covering so many shifts. The automation in this space absolutely kind of makes sense because, instead of further, reducing your service level objectives, you perhaps want to give better service levels with the resources that you have. Now, there were 2 or 3 problems very clearly. I mean, all of us who come from service desk, they know it. One was knowledge management, right? So, knowledge management has a weak spot for a lot of organizations. And when you go to service desk, it's pain point, isn't it? Because what do all of us, every service desk, there's always a struggle. I have so much work to do. Do I really have 2 hours to sit down and write a fantastic knowledge article and multiple knowledge articles which are going to help, right? So that's one common problem. And even if you do right, you find that time a new manager comes and that person says, hey, we all need to pitch in and put the documents. Where do you put those documents? You typically put those documents in SharePoint or something, or you go to your service desk. If your service desk and knowledge management, you put there. Problem with both the scenarios is access, right? People's behavior, right? How you and me behave. None of us want to go, if you have a problem, none of us want to go to a SharePoint or some other place, log in there, click, 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 find the right folder, click, 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 open the right document, read, write, read the right paragraph, and then say, wow, I found the right answer to my question. Nobody wants to do that. That's just human nature. Let's accept it. So what happens is, over a period of time, your documents in SharePoint, your documents in, wherever else they were kept, they are not used. So now, once they are not used, a few things happen, right? One, the person who created it is not getting any feedback, right? That person is not getting to know, is this article good? Is this article bad? Do I need to add more content here? People are reading it. I should be excited. Or what is going on? They don't know because most likely nobody's using it. And even if they were using it, there's no feedback mechanism to quickly tell the author what is going on, right? So you lose interest as an author saying, hey, nobody uses it. And employees are anyway not very, interested in using it. Over a period of time, what happens, the versioning goes bad. You don't update it. You don't put the latest information because you are not very enthusiastic. And then if a user does reach there, they'll say this information is old. I don't know what to do with it. So net it's a vicious cycle, right? And what is the end result of the vicious cycle? I like to call it graveyards of knowledge. So all these document management system and your your wherever you are putting your knowledge, instead of being alive, lively places where knowledge is exchanged and accessible and easy, what happens is they become graveyard of knowledge, right? Just imagine if your knowledge in some part of service, do people even know that they can go? Don't they have a friction of going wherever it is and then finding it, remembering that login ID? If it's SSO, it's okay, but then finding where to find the information. So all those are the barriers to knowledge, and that's what makes knowledge basically rot over a period of time. So chatbots, coming to the topic, like I know I went a little bit left side on the knowledge management, but that these two problems are very closely associated. So chatbots are a great way to make knowledge accessible, right information at the right time, quickly accessible to the person. I don't have to search, and I can quickly find exactly what I'm looking for. Now, if you add the dimension that you mentioned, which is Microsoft Teams, that makes it even great, right? Because now you have information, you know where to go. It's in Microsoft Teams. You use Microsoft Teams all the time. All you need to do is to click and go and just type something or click something, and boom, the information that you're looking for is there. That
But
is amazing.
something worth noting though, and this was the converse. This is what struck me right in the face when you and I first talked about this, is the chatbot is not just available in Microsoft Teams. Rezolve understood what the customer's needs were going to be, and although it is in Microsoft Teams, so those that are regular Teams users have very, very quick, immediate access to it, it can also be put out on your self-service portal,
Of course,
on a website, even as a web part,
of course.
because all the places that they may go, and it all works exactly the same way. There's not, okay, I've got to configure it this way for this or this way for that. We can make the chat bot available. And something that I was also thinking about as you were talking there as well, Manish, is one of the challenges is when I start to think about chatbots and what some of the early attempts people had made at using chatbots, is people burn out on them. It's much like calling in. Um, and I start to get angry and shout at the phone,
Yeah,
agent, agent,
yeah,
agent, because I'm on the 17th level of hell on the phone tree, and I'm still not getting where I need. It wants to tell me what my balance is, or whatever it is that automated system is trying to help me. And I know if I can get to a human, I can get my answer and my problem solved in a matter of minutes. And that's where we've tried to strike that balance. And what you guys have done in using the chatbot is to make it easy, and that we can get there. But the automation becomes part of that. One of the things I used to talk about it with customers is when you start talking about knowledge, right? I'm a big KCS fan, right? Because KCS lets you keep that knowledge fresh. But the challenge with it is getting the knowledge consumed,
that's right.
which you can't force people to do, but you have to make it easy for them to be able to get to it to serve themselves. And one of the dynamics we have, and this is something I think that gets lost in a lot of the technology conversation. KCS, chatbots, whatever the greatest new doodad um, is there is a dynamic shift in our employees. So, Manish, you and I, we've been around the sun a few more times than probably the average tech person, right? We're perfectly comfortable picking up a telephone and dialing a number to talk to another person. I know you and I have done that multiple times where it's like, let's have a call to discuss this because going back and forth in email is not going to be quite as efficient in our mind, right? But
Yeah,
our employees today came up with leveraging texting technology,
absolutely.
self-serving themselves. I think about my 16-year-old now,
Yeah.
right? And many folks who have watched many of my videos have heard him grow up over time. But I remember when he was younger, and my wife was having trouble printing something, and she
Hmm.
said, "Well, I'll just wait till Dad gets home, and Dad will figure out why I stopped printing." And he's like, "Well, Mom, we're getting an error. Let's just Google it."
There you go.
That was his initial instinct, was not
Absolutely.
to wait or to make a call. It was, what other mechanisms do I have readily available to me to solve my problem?
Yeah.
And those are the employees. As interesting, I think about it because my, near 30-year-old son now, it's hard to believe how fast time has marched on, but he was at kind of the front end of the cell phone revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, texting and the things that those employees do, which are our core workers now, right? We were the workers not that many years ago. Now we're the managers and the supervisors. This is a mechanism that they're perfectly comfortable with.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to me that where he's presently working, they're just starting to come into some of this technology. And he said
Yeah.
it was completely insane to him to have to pick up the phone and call someone to get help. Why can't I submit something and look it up and just do it myself? I mean, I know what needs to be done. I just need to get it approved.
Yeah. I think you hit on two or three very, very important points, right? First thing is quality. The solution has to be feel very natural. It should Someone should look at the solution from an end user perspective very, very clearly, because they're chatbots and they are chatbots, right? All of us recently have heard about ChatGPT. I don't know if you had a chance to
Mm-hmm.
experience it firsthand. And what an amazing experience, right?
Oh, it's
It's You
insane.
can clearly see it's the next level. So the point I'm trying to make is that all the technology that you're going to like are the ones which have actually thought of the end user experience a little bit more than less,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's one very critical point. And we at Rezolve.ai absolutely pride ourselves on thinking through how the user experience is going to be, which means smart AI, and but also what clicks they have to do and what do they get. Second piece I think very important you said was about not just chatbot being an entry point to doing a lot of things, right? So, sure, traditionally you think of chatbot, you think a solution which can give you answers. But the way I think about this is chatbot is a way, your first line of defense in your service desk, right? So all your simple L1 tasks, giving an answer, creating a ticket, telling you status update of the ticket, adding a note to the ticket that you already created, right? Because something might have changed. Getting simple things done, like I don't have access to that folder or something like that. All those kind of level one tasks, if you can get those done within 10-15 seconds, that'll be great. Like you said, you mentioned this, right? Because I know right now I go to human because inherently I know they'll be faster than talking to a stupid system, which eventually, where I know eventually I'll have to talk to a human anyway. But if you have a system where right, if you can get things done within 10 seconds and your transaction is over, whatever you're trying to do, and you can move on in your life and use your time productively somewhere else, that is what everyone is looking for, right? They don't want to struggle with systems. There's not a battle that you have to fight with someone. This is something where you come, get something done, and just move out and do whatever else you're doing. So the capability of the chatbot is very important. Now, lastly, your point around the generation shift is so important. I remember once I was in Chicago, and this is a while back actually, and there was this huge conference, and there's this very smart marketing, some kind of speaker, and he came and asked everyone in the room. He asked how many people are comfortable texting versus talking. And the point that he demonstrated was all of us think that only the new generation is the one, but he actually divided the whole segment by ages. And he said, okay, now tell me 55 and above. How many of, if you knew you can get your issue resolved within, if would you rather text and or just have a 3-minute conversation? Everyone said, if I can get it done by text, then I'll do text. So it is a generational thing, but also inherently all of us, if you can get it done, why get into this 3-minute conversation for worse or for better, or I don't know that, but that's how we are. So I think you need solutions, like you said, which are smart, which do more than to provide an answer, but also very intuitive, right? Easy, should be available in the channel that you like, whatever the channel might be. It might be Slack for you, might not be Teams. So sure, you want a solution in Slack in that case. And you need this to get things done for you, right? Not just, and one part of that, you and me were talking about this, is live chat, right? You do sometimes need a human expert in the back end to say, hey, you know what? I'm here to help you. You tried. You have taken your 20 seconds. In 20 seconds, you couldn't get what you were looking for. Now it's time for me to jump in and help you. But guess what? Before this person jumps in, this is only 20% or 30% of the issues. 70% of the issues have already been automatically resolved. So this person is also more relaxed, more in a position to help you, and not pressured and pulled from all sides. So ability to transition, seamless transition to a human agent, I think is also very important.
Well, and also in that transition, they're getting uh, feedback on what you were trying to do. So they
Absolutely.
come when they answer the call, they already have an idea that they of what you may be looking for. So they're presenting. It's a lot less than the unknown, where hello, welcome to XYZ, service desk. How may I help you? And you don't, as Forrest Gump would say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, right? This you at least kind of know what the chocolate looks like.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
warm hands off are so important, right? Like you and me have both done it. We have talked to some airlines or bank or credit card agent, and then that person has to transfer somewhere else. And now you assume that new person knows everything, and guess what? They don't.
you
And
got to
you're
start
like,
all
do
over.
I
Yep,
really have to tell you everything the third time today? I'm irritated, right? Like you don't want that.
absolutely, absolutely. And the technology continues to march on.
Yeah.
Um, and as you said, like Chat GPT, if people haven't gone and seen that, go sign up for free and have your mind completely blown. We were playing with it, one evening and threw some pretty insane questions at it, and the stuff it was coming back with was quite frightening.
It is, it
That
is, it is outstanding. And what they've done is basically they have pointed it towards global knowledge, right? And there's a bot which can learn, and like we point to a specific knowledge. So here they have pointed to global knowledge and trained it over a period of time. Now the bot can answer everything, right? It's phenomenal what we are doing with it. So we have already integrated, by the way, with ChatGPT. Rezolve.ai is fully integrated, and we are implementing now in Service Desk ChatGPT like function. We have figured out how exactly what is the best model to use it. Of course, work will continue, but there are a lot of new models emerging. So this, by the way, ChatGPT in Service Desk, I'm writing a blog also about it. It's going to change the game, right? It is taking it to the next level. What we are doing, it is going to take it to the next level for sure.
that's insane.
So one example I want to tell you when we are talking about new technologies or the scope, right? So earlier, what used to happen, bots like ours had a knowledge base of their own, right? Now, literally, what can happen is I can point my bot to a website, I can point it to a SharePoint folder, I can point it to wherever you tell me to point it, and the bot will learn everything there, and then the bot can answer questions, right? So that's pretty phenomenal. In chat GPT kind of scenario, the bot can actually do a back and forth with you, which is completely not designed. So it is not previously designed, but it will do back and forth with you out of the blue, like an intelligent person. So these are the new things which are emerging in this technology. And by the way, wherever the bot fails, suppose the bot, typically what happens is bot will fail sometimes, right? Like will not know this or will not know that. What is happening there is that the bot will now come tell you at the end of the week or at the month saying, hey, Michael, these were the 7 applications, and within these applications, these were the actions around which I failed. I didn't know, right? Can you train me on these 7 things so that my performance can be 40% better? Because if you train me on these 7 things, my performance on the last 1 month data will be 40% better. Like this is insane level of smartness that the bots like Rezolve.ai have today, which was not even available, to be honest, even like 1 year back or 2 years back.
Well, I know you wanted to show us a little bit of the chatbot, didn't you?
Yeah, I can. I'm very happy to show you how it looks like, and just to give you an idea. Okay, so here is how your your bot can look like in your teams, right? Like this is a bot. You'll have it with your brand name, your logo, etc., etc. So it will not be resolved here. It will be something like this, and this is how the experience might look like. This is how it will look like for you. Now you can see there are a lot of things you can do here. You can ask a question. You can open a ticket. You can check the status of a ticket. You can chat with the person, or you can go somewhere else. Like if you go to my skills menu here for a second, what you're going to see is there's a different menu altogether here, which will tell you what are the kind of things you can do. So here you are. For example, this is your bot. It's in Teams, and you can have this, as per your own logo, your own image, etc., etc. And it can give you different options like ask a question, open a new ticket, check ticket status, my skills menu, different options, right? Now, the interesting thing is if in the backend you are available as an agent, right? Like I'm sharing right now, I just went in the backend and made myself available. Then it will provide the option of live chat. Otherwise, it will not even provide the option of live chat. So if I go here, it provides an option of chat with the person. While before, it never provided that option because nobody at the backend was available in this particular service desk right now. So from the perspective of accessibility, it's amazing because you're right here. You can do different things. Suppose you want to ask a question. So if I say, how do I set up my OneDrive in iPhone, right? Something like that. If I want to ask a question, a lot of people, younger generation, is using iPhone. They don't seem to like Android. I don't know why. I like it just fine. But here you go. There's an answer. You can find what you want to do. If you want to hear a video of what you're trying to do, you can even find a video. So it's a you have different kind of scenario here. You can have image, video, whatever you wanted, right? And there you go. You have to give some feedback to the bot saying whether you loved it, you hated it, whatever it might be. And there you go. If you say you have hated it, it will take care of, it will take some other steps. It'll say, hey, sorry, why didn't you like it? Do I need to give you a different answer? Do I need to bring a human into the conversation? Do you want to create a ticket? So there are different scenarios that will immediately do in case you come to it and you say you don't like the experience. But right now, in this case, let's say I'm saying that I like the experience, and it's as simple as that. By the way, if I ask it a question, let's say I ask a question, it doesn't know, it can pass me on to human. But right now, let's say if I just want to chat with a agent, I can go here and says, okay, select which group. Let's say any group. You can have IT group, you can have HR group, you can have networking group, different kind of groups. It checks back and says, hey, agents are available to chat. Do you want me to proceed? And I say, yeah, I want to go ahead. And what it does is it pings this person here, the agent. They will hear a chime and says, hey, someone is trying to chat with you. And you can look at what happened so far. Like you're saying, it gives you an opportunity to look at what has happened. And then if you want to jump into the conversation, there you go. You can jump in and you can say, hello, I think I can help you, right? Because you already know the context, right? You don't have to ask the person the context again. And now this person is chatting with this agent. Great. And now, after they had a conversation, this person can disconnect when they're done. By the way, before the agent passed on for the ticket, it always creates a ticket. So before it passes on to the agent, it will create a ticket so that there's a placeholder where this conversation is going to go. And if there's a relevant ticket that needs to be opened, created, more details need to be put, it will be here, right? So this is a couple of things that I wanted to show you how easy it is to go ask a question, how easy it is to go, reach out to the specific group. It can route the problem to the right group. For example, there are multiple groups here. There's a IT hardware, IT software. There can be other groups which are involved. You can do that. You can also, by the way, put some canned responses for human agents to put, because if they are repeating same things over and over again, I hope they will improve it in the knowledge base, but they can also add canned responses right here. So this hopefully gives you a basic idea on how it looks and feels within Teams, and how it kind of works at a high level. The functionality around Chat GPT that we are adding, that'll be spectacular to see as well, and we are going to release it in production, I think around in a month or so.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to updating, doing an updated video to show that functionality, because it is, it will be even more conversational in nature, and this stuff is so amazing and so fun, of the power it brings to an organization. When you start to think about live chat support, right? One of the things that we've talked about with a lot of customers is a typical agent can handle multiple concurrent chats,
That's
where
right.
on a phone call you can only do one at a time. And you've got your one customer that needs to go, well, I'm having a problem with my printer, or what's its model? I don't know. I got to go look. So off they totter to go look on that, and somebody else is
Yeah,
asking for something else, and you can kind of go back and forth with a couple of customers to continue to assist them. And I know for many of us that are out there, we have experience with live chat.
that's right.
Um,
That's right.
I think of most interactions that I've had with Amazon, as an example, are rarely a phone call.
That's right.
It's a quick chat, for the times where I've got an issue or a problem, and I'm able to resolve my challenge that I may be having.
So
And
it's installing a knowledge base based chatbot and a live chat. That combo, that combination is an amazing combination, and pretty much anyone can get started with. I'll tell you a small story. There's a very large client who had a big service desk, and it was undergoing transition, and the budget cuts and whatnot, and they clearly knew they have to transform the service desk, but also start giving better service to people right away. So they came with the idea saying, hey, we are just going to do live chat right now. We don't think our organization can handle, uh, you know, um, anything more right now. What all we are looking for is live chat. And we haven't found a great live chat solution on Microsoft Teams. So guess what, Resolve, we want to start with live chat. And we said, that's fine. We know that our product can do a lot, but we are okay to get started with live chat. And then what happened during the first month of implementation, as they were getting more used to our product and seeing the chatbot component of it, I find it so interesting. It's a natural progression, right? We don't have to tell people what to do. People themselves say, you know what, it'll be good to have some knowledge. Why can't we take care of the simplest of issue with the bot? Do you think we can do that? Yeah, of course the product can do that, right? So I just want to add here one very interesting point. We believe in Rezolve.ai that there are two kind of knowledge, right? So one knowledge is knowledge specific to your organization, some application you have or some specific things that you have. We don't know that, and you have to create it. You are responsible for it. There's nothing we can do there. We can point our bot to a different direction. If you have some document or whatever, we can point it towards that direction and give you the answer, but you essentially will have to create that knowledge or locate that knowledge. But there's another component of knowledge, which is general knowledge, right? If you use Adobe, for example, there must be like 300 questions about Adobe that people ask all the time, but they are general. They are same in your company as some other company. Microsoft, some questions are common, right? Many questions are common. So if your enterprise uses like 40 or 50 enterprise apps, there's a component, there's a body of knowledge that you can use, which is same across the organization. So it doesn't change. So one of the things that we have done is we have kind of, we are creating the all entirety of all common knowledge that people can just use. So if you use Microsoft, okay, here you go. These are 700 questions that are available to you. Or use Adobe. Here are 200 questions which are available to you. Use Salesforce. There are 100 questions that are available to you. So depending on your spread of application, we believe that as service desk managers, as supervisors, you should not be responsible for recreating the same knowledge that is, used across the service desk. Why should you be doing that, right? So the chatbots of future like ours come pre-populated with knowledge which is common across the board. You don't have to create that. Why should you, right? So only the knowledge which is very specific to you, you need to create. And like I said, the progression is something, it's very natural. You are going to know how to progress from one point to another. You're going to say, I need a chatbot or a live chat. And then you will say, how do I add more knowledge? And then you're going to say, it will be nice if the bot can do simple things. And then you're going to say, well, I have an employee onboarding problem. What can you do to solve it? So it's not something that we have to tell you, right? Although the product is capable of doing a whole lot. Typically, we let the client decide the pace at which they want to go and the direction at which they want to go. And all of them find their own pace and direction, and then they implement it. So it's very interesting. And as a almost like a third-party observer, it's so interesting to see how people actually go from step one to step two, and they navigate their own way through this journey of automation.
It's all exciting stuff, Manish, and we've got so much that we're going to cover. So join us again for another Excalibur Data Systems Roundtable Tech Talk starring Manish Sharma from Rezolve.ai as we continue to dive deeper into all of the gooey goodness that makes up the Rezolve.ai platform. Manish, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Michael. What a pleasure.
And for those of you that are watching, excaliburdata.com, go out. You can find information on Rezolve.ai and reach out to our team. We'll be happy to get you in touch with the team at Rezolve and find out what Rezolve can do to help you with your challenges. We'll see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.